Okay, so students, today we are going to start with this topic, that is solar system. So in this concern, today we will start with the planets. So I am showing you the screen. I am sharing my screen for that. My screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am, it is
Yes,
visible.
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, so first of all, we will study about our solar system. That in our solar system, there are 9 planets along, but the ninth one, that is Pluto, is been discarded. Any one of you who can tell me why Pluto is been discarded from our solar system?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am,
because the
Yes, ma'am.
International
Because
Astronomical Union gave a new definition of planet, so it did not fit in that definition.
yes, ma'am.
So
yes,
The
what
ma'am,
is
it
Pluto does
doesn't
not
fulfill
fulfill the
the
all
needs of
requirement
a
of
planet.
planet.
one by one, and you can switch on your camera, okay, while speaking. Yes, so if suppose this is our solar system, standards for solar system, any one of you who can tell why this Pluto has been discarded? According to that, the size of the Pluto is very small, so it cannot actually standardize the actual size of the planet. So it is being discarded. And the next thing is that this is our solar system. If you can see here, this is our solar system. And this solar system, this is the sun which is in the center. Then comes the Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto is being removed. So you can see the Mercury. This is the nearest planet of the sun. This Mercury, after that Venus, Earth, and Mars. These all means you can say the Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. They are called actually the means it is the inner planet. They are called the inner planet, and they all are made up of rocks and metals. While the others, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune, they will be forming the gaseous planet. They are called gas planet. Why? Because they all are made up of gas. So they are called gas planet. In between the Mars and Jupiter, there is a belt that is called asteroid belt, in which the asteroids are present, that we will discuss later on. So this is whole and soul the structure of a solar system. So first of all, I am coming to Mars. Anyone who is having the presentation for Mars? Yes. Anyone who is having the presentation for Mars? Okay, first of all, I am showing you on the class edge.
International Observatory. Today, we have a special interactive session on the solar system planned for you. This is what our solar system looks like from above. It has the Sun at the center and 8 major planets, dwarf planets, comets, asteroids, and meteors. The Sun binds all the planets.
What is dwarf planet? Any idea? What is dwarf planet?
Ma'am, the Pluto is called as dwarf planet.
Yes, the Pluto is called as.
These are celestial bodies which are very small in size.
Yes,
and revolve
these are
around
the
us.
The word dwarf itself means that very small.
Yes,
Yes.
and that's why the Pluto is being rejected from our solar system.
And other celestial objects with its gravity. The first 4 planets are called the inner or terrestrial planets. The other 4 are known as the outer planets.
Why they are called the terrestrial planets? Inner planets because they are on the first means inside that asteroid belts. That's why they are called inner planets. What do you mean by the terrestrial planets?
Ma'am, which has land in them.
Yes,
These
because they are
planets
made up
lands.
of
Yes,
rocks
sir.
and
They are made up of solid rocks.
yes, and
Yes,
metals.
ma'am. The terrestrial animals means that the animals that live on the land. So, ma'am,
Yes.
these terrestrial planets are the planets that have land on them. And, ma'am, the
Yes.
rest are gaseous.
And the rest are gaseous
Yes, ma'am.
planets. Yes, they are
Made up
basically
of
made up of
hydrogen and helium.
yes, hydrogen and helium gas. Yes.
Yes.
So first of all, we will go to Mercury. First of all, we will start with the moon, the natural satellite of the earth. So first of all, I am starting this media from the class H. Then Shivendra will explain with his presentation. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so in the sky you can see the different phases of moon, different structure of moon. Every night the moon has different structure, so that is called the phases of moon. So I am using this class H for explaining it.
If you have watched the moon on different nights, you must have
Sound
noticed
is
that the
audible?
moon looks different every other night. Do you know why this happens? Let us learn about it. But before this, you need to know that the moon does not have any light of its own, and so it should not be visible to us at all. But it is visible only because it reflects the sunlight that falls on it. Now
So we know that moon does not has its own light. It actually during the daytime it receives the light from the sun, and that light is being reflected back through which we are able to see in the night, and we call it as moonlight. Okay.
let us see why the moon looks different on different days. This is how the moon would look from outer.
So this is the moon looks like, because if suppose here is the sun and if this is the moon, this is the earth, the sunlight which is falling on the surface of the moon, that much only surface is visible to us. And this is the fact that the back portion of the moon we are unable to see. We have not seen the back portion of the moon because only half portion of the moon gets the sunlight. And the according to the according to the presence of the moon on the orbit, how much amount of light it is receiving, we will see that portion of moon, and it will actually make the shapes of the moon, and that is called the phases of moon.
Space on any given day. Half of the moon would always look bright, and the other half would always look dark from above. This is because there would always be one side of the moon facing the sun, and it would always appear bright when we look from above. But when we look at the moon from the earth, it looks different on different days. It is because we see the bright parts of the moon at different angles as it revolves around the earth. The changing shapes of the moon are called phases of the moon. These lunar phases occur in a cyclic order, from the new moon to the full moon and back to the new moon phase again.
So first of all, Shivendra will show his presentation. Then we will move on to the the next part of this phases of moon. Shivendra, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me stop my sharing. Yes, Shivendra, you can share your screen.
Yes. Ma'am, I am not the presenter now.
Okay, I am making you presenter. Yes.
Yes. Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes, but it is lit. Yes, 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 yes. Now you can present.
Yes, ma'am. First, I'm going to tell about how the phases of the moon occur by telling about how the moon travels around the Earth. The moon's orbit around the Earth has a sidereal period of 27.3 days and a synodic period of 29.5 days. The moon is tightly locked to the Earth, which means that the length of full rotation of the moon on its own axis is the same as the synodic period. This basically means that we get to see only one side of the moon from the Earth every time. Tidal locking is the phenomenon by which the Earth's gravity, stronger than the moon, resists its rotation so that it faces the Earth while evolving. Due to tidal locking, we only get to see one side of the moon, and the other unknown side is called the dark side of the moon. In the solar system, nearly 50% of the moons face their planets in this way. Today, scientists have mapped the other side through satellites. So the upper picture is of the near side, which we get to see from the Earth, and the picture seen below is the picture taken from the satellite, which is sent in the space by scientists. Next, I'm going to tell about how does the moon change. But the moon does not have its own light. It only shines and looks because the light of the sun is different. So it is an illuminated celestial body, but the light of the sun does not play a role in its different shapes. The way in which we look at the moon makes these changes. The sun always lights half of the moon. There is no period in which the moon is not half lit. These changes are only observed from the Earth as at different days are called. One more fact is that the moon revolves on an orbit tilted at 5 degrees. Here we can see the diagram, how the phases occur. And in every situation, we see that the moon is always half lit because the sunlight falls in this way, in such a way that the moon gets half lit, and the moon, the shape we see from the Earth, makes the phases. Here, in between, we get to see the full moon, and then when it completes one cycle, then comes the new moon, then again the full moon. First of all, a new moon is when the moon cannot be seen because we are looking at the unlit half of the moon. The new moon phase occurs when the moon is directly between the Earth and Sun. A solar eclipse can only happen at noon. The new moon is the shape in which nothing is visible from the Earth, and we get to see only the boundaries, only the perimeter of the moon. Then comes the waxing crescent, and after the new moon, it increases in size. A waxing crescent is when the moon looks like a crescent. Crescent increases, waxes in size from one day to the next. This phase is usually only seen in the west. The first quarter moon, or half, is when the half of the lit portion of the moon is visible after the waxing crescent phase. It comes a week after new moon. So we get to see only the half lit moon from the Earth, and then comes the waxing gibbous, occurs when more than half of the lit portion of the moon can be seen, and the shape increases in size from one day to the next. The waxing gibbous phase occurs between the first quarter and full moon phases. Then comes at last the full moon, in which we get to see the whole of the near side of the moon, and it is completely lit. We can see the entire lit portion of the moon. The full moon phase occurs when the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth from the sun, called opposition. A lunar eclipse can only happen at full moon. Then after the full moon, the moon gradually decreases in size, and then it reaches again the new moon. Then comes the waning gibbous, which occurs when more than half of the lit portion of the moon can be seen, and the shape decreases in size from one day to the next. The waning gibbous phase occurs between the full moon and third quarter phases. Then comes the last quarter, or half moon, is when the half of the lit portion, same as the first quarter, we can see it half lit. Then comes waning crescent, is when a moon looks like a crescent, and crescent decreases, wanes in size from one day to the next. Then again the new moon, and then this cycle repeats, and it takes a time about 30 days, 29 days, which is usually called a month.
Oh, okay.
So thank you for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivendra.
Why doesn't the Earth trust the moon? Because the moon never reveals its dark side. The moon has a side which no one can ever see from the Earth, which is called the dark side or the far side. Let's find out why. We know that the moon rotates about its axis and revolves around the Earth. But how does this really happen? For better understanding, let's mark the side which can be seen by the Earth in a different color. Now, many of us imagine the moon's movement to be happening like this, rotating about its axis and revolving around the Earth. Notice that here, the moon is completing many rotations before it completes one complete revolution. But that's not how it works, which brings us to the most important concept here. The time taken by the moon to rotate about its axis once is almost the same as the time it takes to revolve around the Earth once, both approximately 27 days. This gives us the answer. Here's what actually happens in this time period. Notice that the moon is revolving around the Earth and rotating about its axis as well. After about half the time period, the moon is here and the Earth has only seen the near side. And the moon continues to do so for the remaining time period and ends the revolution back at the same point where it started. In this same time period of around 27 days, it rotated once about its axis and revolved once around the Earth as well. Let's have a look at this one more time. Notice how the moon is moving. We can see that at any point in time, just one side of the moon is visible to us from Earth. In reality, the Earth is rotating as well as revolving around the Sun. But irrespective of that, from any point on the Earth, only one side of the moon can be seen. So now we know why the Earth doesn't trust the moon. But what about the Earth and the Sun? Is the same concept applicable for them as well? No, right? We know that the Earth completes one revolution around the Sun in approximately 365 days. And what about its rotation? Is that also 365 days? No, we're aware that its rotation time is 1 day or 24 hours. So it's clear now that from the Sun, both the sides of the Earth would be visible. But what if at some point in the future, Earth's rotation time equals its revolution time? What do you think would this result in? If this happens, we know that only one side of the Earth will be exposed to the Sun, while the other side will forever be in darkness. What will its implications be? How different would our life be on Earth then?